All right. Well, we'll see if this is live or working. Hi, friends. I don't even know. I've never done this before, but we're going to do some video editing potentially. Uh, I'm using a different software, so maybe it'll work well. So, the first thing we have to go through for this edit is finding extra footage to move into it. So, let me see if I can get this loaded up. You get to see all the rough cuts. It's going to be so fun. All right. Let's see. Man, there's too many of them. Shrink that over. Let's make another one. All right, now we got to open up our folder. This is going to get exciting eventually. So the first thing I want to find is this one. We're going to open a ton of these. It's going to be excruciating. Nope, not this one. So that's a delete. And then maybe it's this one. Nope, that's a delete. This sucker's probably it. So I do, this is one of my secrets to animations. So I actually do all red writing and I trace it in blue so it looks all organized and clean. And then I'll remove the red with a filter, which we'll get to. It looks like this will have all the writing. It took me so long to figure out this style, but I really like it. Okay, so we're going to call this whiteboard Santosh. Whiteboard. So I film on my B and A roll, and then I'm going to roll this on top of Santosh's discussion. So the next thing we're looking for is the hook intro. So I could actually probably fake it just by looking at the lengths. I had a lot of miscuts here. It's promising. Promising. So all those are pretty long. Let's try this one. Yeah, that one didn't work. All right. Oh man, the amount of takes I have to do is so hard. All right, let's throw that out. Because you have to speak at a certain cadence and pace when you're doing content. All right, so this one's only 10 seconds, right? Yeah, so that one's definitely garbage. What's this one? 117, 8. All right, this looks like it's most promising. I think I figured it out. Should be able to. Up screen. I think I had to share the screen with the audio. I think I figured it out. There we go. Let me test this. Trajectory of his career towards surgical robotics, which is fantastic. Number 2, he's worked on so many technologies.
But hi, friends. Hope you're doing well.
Intuitive
Screen. I think I had to share the screen.
Right now, he's
with
directing
the audio.
systems engineering at Zimmer. And he has
I
this
figured
great
that
arc moving
out.
across engineering and then getting into the marketing,
There we
customer
go.
biz dev spaces. He actually pursued a business MBA at Harvard Business School, so he's a
Test
wizard
this.
for building businesses. And he just has a very humble yet strong executive presence. So there's lots of little
Should be able to be.
that I think are deeply applicable to you and to your own leadership context.
But hi,
Number
friends.
3,
Hope
by
you're
the
doing
end
well.
of this episode, you will have
Screen.
a
I think I
deeper
had to share
understanding
the screen.
of the future of physical AI in medtech, what barriers
I
are
figured
to
that
getting this
out.
technology adopted, different techniques we can
There we-
to progress the
there we
research
go.
for the right clinicians in the right
Yeah.
regions. And then also he shares some of his own tips he's used from our sponsors of this episode of Sunday Sips. So you can sip on that.
Yay! That's a good version. All right. So that's going to be intro, clean. So these are all trash. So then, did I get these both first shot? Let's go.
Hey, it's Pretentious Engineer for the future, farther in the future, and I want to share some quick actions you can take. Now, you can navigate the big brain vascular robotics, which is that I think could be deeply applicable to you. So that's all I got, friends. Let's jump right back in, and you can sip on that.
All right. So then this is actions you can take.
Costs to taking those bets on yourself, community run business, like all of them. I'm going to be stealing pieces of this for sure.
Big brain ideas. Right, so now we want to grab all of these. X. We need to put these into my workspace, and then we'll move them over to the edit and start playing with it. So this will go under Sunday Sips. Santosh Iyer. We need to go over to here, change scenes to and then I've got to drag this all in. Let's see. All right, there we go. So now we can start to edit this all sequentially, which is awesome. Go ahead. This seems to be running okay. Throw this up here. I think everything's working. Just going to run a test. Not sure if it works on the chat. Oh, cool. That's pretty responsive. So the chat shows up right on the video. That is surprisingly fast. Does it stay forever too? This is all using new tools is fantastic. I like that. Let me test YouTube really quick. I created an infinity window, but that's fine. Go to my page. Oh man, the thumbnail's terrible on this. Yes.
Dishwasher cleaner.
Clean. You're the best. The dishwasher is clean. YouTube chat test.
See if that bloops over there. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, I love this. Okay, so StreamYards is the way. It's so weird because I've used OBS Studio forever. I've never done multi-streaming. There's still a lot that this interface lacks that I have to build in over time, but very interesting. All right. Cool. Let's get to work. So we'll see how much we can get done. It's 3:52. I got third shift tonight at Amazon, so I don't have all the time in the world. But we will make it work. All right, so the first thing we want to do is figure out the hook and intro. Oh, this is a fake intro.
Santosh, Jeff, and any other.
Yeah, so this is for his approval. So I should be able to delete this. Safe delete. Oh, God. Safe delete. Hopefully I didn't screw everything up. I think I got all the audio balance. So now we should hypothetically be able to cut and run, but we have a new logo. So let's pull the new logo in. So let me add the new logo over here really quick. Just hop over to downloads. We made a pretentious brain logo that I'm very excited about launching. All right, and then I'll lift that up, and then Sunday Sip Square logo. Yeah, let's just delete it and drag that in its place. Come on. It is incredible how much better the performance of my video editing is using a different live streaming software. So I tried to do this with OBS, but it's very resource intensive. There's like in audio visual, there's always something you're adapting and shifting. All right. That remote. Let's have a kiss up on the side. Bring that down. It's funny, I have such an awesome backlog of work to do. Yeah, I onboarded a team member today into my ventures. I've got 6 onboarded technically that are running different pieces. So flipping pumped. But I'm like, there's still work to get real humans moving in the same direction. So I'm really trying to lean into that process. All right, let's keep going.
Santosh, it is such a joy to connect with you today. Santosh, it is such a joy to connect with you today. And there are 3 reasons why I'm excited to curate this episode.
By the way, this is just transparency. I'm not very proud of this intro because I woke up at 2:50 in the morning and painted the wall behind me so that I had at least something half aesthetic. The studio is much better now than it was, but I didn't create the time to actually script the intro, and I wish I had just written those words down, but I couldn't even get like my projector set up. Like this whole podcast recording is a miracle, but it's just the insecurity behind the camera.
Reasons why I'm excited to curate this episode of Sunday Sips. The first of which, you are an absolute legend in medtech, spanning multiple technologies, startups, strategics, and you are clearly an SME in the AI spaces and how we can progress new solutions there. Second, you are an entrepreneur, which I identify with in your journey, and it's been amazing seeing the different risks you progress in order to build up new talents in our medtech industry through robotics and AI and through these intensive workshops. And third, which I have on my phone, which is exciting, you are the first person ever who gave me feedback on Sunday Sips. So I'm just going to read your initial text, which was so encouraging to me as I've been stepping out and trying to curate these dialogues of big brain ideas in our industry. It's a great talk with Jessica on Sunday Sips. Extremely invaluable advice. You're doing a great service to the medtech ecosystem. Keep up the good work. And so many episodes later, and by so many I mean like 4 that I've done, it is such an encouragement to curate your big brain ideas and to give you the stage to share all of the depth of wisdom you have across engineering, across business, across entrepreneurship, we'll touch on family. So I'm really excited today and bring our digital context together so that we can just glean and kind of sit under your wisdom. So have a remarkable big brain, and it is a privilege to welcome you officially to the Sunday Sips podcast, where we curate these big brain ideas worth sipping. Oh, I tripped on so many words. Okay, so we can get rid of the logo right there. And his response is very short. So that's all I have. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I guess where would you like to start? Because we've already had 20 minutes before the recording, which is fun to chat. What, I guess, insights or ideas are you most interested in exploring? So I think this is a good place to cut into the intro.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
So funny. Okay. Let's scroll down. That's smaller. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is reconnect all this footage together so that it's easier to shift it around. But I know there's also an audio repair I did somewhere over here. So I got to make sure I grab that too.
If we go from that lens and then focus
Okay.
on the fact that, well, how did you do this when you were...
Okay, so this is top secret follow-up conversation that I need to pull away. The back over there. Secret. Y'all can't know. All right. So now what we want to do is grab all of our footage and link it together. That way, if I grab a piece of the audio, want to shift it left or right, it doesn't lose everything. So I'm going to click this magic button I have that you can't see called link, and then everything's linked together. So if I click on one, it didn't work. I lied to you. Let's try that again. Let's click link. Oh God. Undo that. Let's try this one more time. And link. There we go. So now if I click here. What? Let's try it again. I know what I'm doing. There we go. What? It's linked, but it's not linked. I've never seen this before. Because if I grab this, it should all come together. No! I hate that. It should all... Oh, God. All right. Let's try to just link these two together to start. Link. No. I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on this. Let's go. What? Why not together? Now the videos are linked and the audio is linked, but they're not linked together, friends. And then okay, we're gonna brute force it. I've given up. All right. So what we want to do next is we want to get to Santosh's big mic drop. Happy to be here. Just compressing that a little bit. Also, my audio levels are okay, right? Absolute legend in medtech, spanning multiple.
Start with background a little bit.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's a little unconventional and maybe explains why.
Yeah. So that's all I have. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. See, I don't know if I should cut it there or after here.
I think logically maybe start with background a little bit.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's a little unconventional and maybe...
Yeah, let's start it here. So that's all I have. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to cut here. We're going to cut here. We're going to link these.
See, the problem is I have to zoom out because, oh, does it get everything? Oh, it does look like it drags everything. Okay. So next thing we want to do, leave this as an add insert. We're looking for a whiteboard. Oh. There we go. Saw it. There it is. We're going to do, yeah, let's just take it with us. E3, zoom out, take it for a ride. We're going to drop it right here. And now we have to get rid of that solid line. Scoot that away for a bit. And then we have to get my talk track under it. So let's go ahead and grab Santosh Iyer. So we're looking for intro clean. Put this in. So hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with Santosh far more times than I can say sips. So you can sip on that. All right, that's outro. So we're gonna grab this, bring it to A roll. Zoom in for a minute, fix that gap. And now that should slot right under it, which is great. This audio is too small, so we're gonna lift that up. I do audio by eye sometimes. It's about medtech innovation, search. So hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with. So hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with Santosh far away at Harvard Business School. So I've been taking notes throughout the editing process, a business that he started in his. Quick word from our sponsors this episode of Sunday Sips. Beautiful. So next we want to work on what goes above the clean slate. So we have to lock everything. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to adjust the time of this next clip and it will mess up everything else, which is really frustrating actually. Okay, so we got to pull in our whiteboard animation. So we'll start with the blue line. Let's lock that in. Click through it a little bit. So much fun audio. This is actually three. Okay, perfect. Outro. So we're going to bring this clip in and then we're going to mess with it in the colors tab. Now, some of you might be like, why are you live streaming this? I don't care about editing. It's just an opportunity to hang out. If you have any questions on life, let me know. It makes things interesting from my end. It's behind the scenes. Oh, okay. I'm going to do this for my speaker prep too for my keynote in a couple weeks. Let's get rolling. So from here, what we're going to do is adjust the color because we need to get the red off of here. So we're going to go over to our colors tab. And we're going to zoom in. And you'll notice there's like a faint blue and a dark blue. This is an artifact of the tablet I use, which is all right. It takes a little bit of time to like update the color to be darker. So we want to set all of this off the darker color. So we're going to zoom in, make sure we have the little water droplet selected. And then we're gonna just trace some blue. That's what we want to keep. And we're gonna right click here, add an alpha output, drag it over. And then we want to keep it more in the blue range, less in the red. And actually what we want to do is scoot over to another region. Scroll up. There we go. That way we can see what's coming through here. All right. And then we want to make it even more blue. Pull the red out a tiny bit. A touch of red's okay. Increase the saturation. We want to make sure though that there's not a whole bunch of red artifacts in it, which means we would see like the lines we're tracing over and you really can't notice anything. So we're good to go in that regard. So now we want to jump back to our edit tab. And then we want to crop this out from the side. Right, and now we're going to play around with getting my words to perfectly match my narration, which is a royal pain. The things I do for you all. So then we're going to go over to speed change. We're going to change the speed. We're going to ripple the timeline so that it compresses it. And we're going to change the speed to 600. Oh, crap. Oh, see how it pulls stuff over? It's ruining everything. All right, and now we're going to come to the very start, and we're going to break this up piece by piece. So, hey, I'm going to actually squish this down just a tiny bit. Listened to this conversation with Santosh far more times than I can count. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So, hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with Santosh far more times than I can count during the day. All right, so we don't want to get to the 3 reasons yet, so back off. We're going to cut it. Grab it. Roll it out, copy this part, paste it. We're going to freeze frame it on the last frame. And now we're going to listen to it more times than I can count during the editing process. And you are in for a treat. Now, I know you're incredibly busy and selective with where you put your time. So I want to share 3. I'm going to show 3. Back that up just a tiny bit. So now it'll start drawing 3 reasons. There are 3 quick reasons why I think this conversation. Back it up. So the magic, and it took me a long time to figure this out, the magic is getting the animation to match what I'm saying. It's just a lot more clear, but it's more arduous for sure. But certain things are worth that time investment. There are 3 quick reasons why I think this conversation is going to change your life, especially if you're passionate about medtech innovation, surgical robotics, AI, digital ecosystems, or even potentially building your own business down the road. First of which, so now for giving the first reason. Santosh is a legend in physical AI. He was working in surgical robotics before it was cool, and he shares this beautiful story. I love that line. It's very true. Shares this beautiful story where he had proximity to a robotics technology in a medical application very early in his journey that just changed the trajectory of his career towards surgical robotics, which is fantastic. Number 2, he's worked. It's fantastic. Number 2. Number 2, he's worked on so many technologies across Histosonics, Intuitive's Ion, Moon Surgical. Right now, he's directing systems engineering at Zimmer. And all right, let's add that in there. Ta-da. Let's scroll that over. Y'all, you have no idea how long it took me to figure this out. And he has this great arc moving across engineering and then getting into the marketing, customer-facing biz dev spaces. He actually pursued a business MBA at Harvard Business School, so he's a wizard in building businesses. And he just has a very humble yet strong executive presence. So there's lots of little examples he shares that I think are deeply applicable to you in your own leadership context.
The reason it's 3 reasons is that's what people can remember, and it provides just a little bit more weight to the podcast.
By the end of this episode, you will have a deeper understanding of the future of physical AI in medtech, what barriers exist to getting this technology adopted, different techniques.
Nice. Paste, freeze frame it at the last frame. So basically the animation will go and then stop as the goal of that.
Right innovation for the right clinicians in the right regions. And then also he shares some of his own tips he's used to operationalize or scale and enjoy a business that he started in his own ventures and how he leverages AI agents in those spaces, which is a treat. And at the end of this discussion, I will review Santosh's 5 big brain ideas. I've been taking notes throughout the editing process, and I wanted to summarize it so that these. That's hard for me today, though.
Yeah, almost there. Freeze frame.
Brain ideas. I've been taking notes throughout the editing process, and I wanted to summarize it so that these are 5 ideas you can carry with you into your context. So make sure that you hang on till the end. And so
now let's run that and see how that looks. Should be a pretty clean intro. So go to the start of it, come right out of this screen.
And it is a privilege to welcome you officially to the Sunday Sips podcast, where we curate these big brain ideas worth sipping. So that's all I have. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with Santosh far more times than I can count during the editing process, and you are in for a treat. Now, I know you're incredibly busy and selective with where you put your time, so I want to share 3 quick reasons why I think this conversation is going to change your life, especially if you're passionate about medtech innovation, surgical robotics, AI, digital ecosystems, or even potentially building your own business down the road. First of which, Santosh is a legend in physical AI. He was working in surgical robotics before it was cool, and he shares this beautiful story where he had proximity to a robotics technology in a medical application very early in his journey that just changed the trajectory of his career towards surgical robotics, which is fantastic. Number 2, he's worked on so many technologies across histosonics, intuitive ion, moon surgical. Right now, he's directing systems engineering at Zimmer. And he has this great arc moving across engineering and then getting into the marketing, customer-facing biz dev spaces. He actually pursued a business MBA at Harvard Business School, so he's a wizard in building businesses. And he just has a very humble yet strong executive presence. So there's lots of little examples he shares that I think are deeply applicable to you in your own leadership context. Number 3, by the end of this episode, you will have a deeper understanding of the future of physical AI in medtech, what barriers exist to getting this technology adopted, different techniques we can leverage to actually progress the right innovation for the right clinicians in the right regions. And then also he shares some of his own tips he's used to operationalize or scale and enjoy a business that he started in his own ventures and how he leverages AI agents in those spaces, which is a treat. And then at the end of this discussion, I will review Santosh's 5 big brain ideas. I've been taking notes throughout the editing process, and I wanted to summarize it so that these are 5 ideas you can carry with you into your context. So make sure that you hang on till the end. And I want to introduce a quick word from our sponsors of this episode of Sunday Sips. So you can sip on that.
Beautiful. All right. So that's pretty clean. So now we get to introduce a word from our sponsors. So we have to unlock everything.
And the first sponsor naturally would be Kinetic Vision because they're great. No, the first sponsor is me because I'm selfish. Forgot about that. That's the whole quippy joke I make. All right, let's see. Oh, shoot. Okay, we have to get rid of all these lines. Like those. I have all these extra lines of audio we don't want because it's problematic. All right, so zoom in over here for a minute. Scroll that back down. All right, so next we're going to insert the Kinetic Vision ad. Should be way out here. Should be my ad insert, right?
So first of all, this episode of Sunday Sips.
What is going on here? So these get shifted. I hate this. So what we need to do is bring them over here, perhaps, and then we need to unlink them. Unlink them. Match those up.
Hey, pretentious engineer here. I know you didn't ask, but this episode of Sunday Sips is caffeinated by Kinetic Vision.
So not that one. We need this one first. This is me. Zoom. Just drag it along. Zoom in and see what's going on here. Wait. Oh, God. There we go. And then let's grab the Kinetic Vision one. Let's run this through and make sure this works correctly. That seems a little loud.
That you hang on till the end, and I want to introduce a quick word from our sponsors of this episode of Sunday Sips, so you can sip on that. So first of all, this episode of Sunday Sips is caffeinated by me. Now, I am
So
a
pretentious
entrepreneur. I have been building my business for almost 2 years, and I put around 100 hours total into each episode of Sunday Sips across connecting with the speaker, pre-production planning, shooting the episode, all the edits, and post-edit campaigning. And the reason I do this is because it's a beautiful opportunity for me to curate these dialogues in medtech and highlight these wonderful innovators that are healing from the margins. And it also connects people with my business and services. So I've put 100 hours into this for you. If you have 15 minutes, this next step would be incredibly helpful for me because I receive a lot of DMs from different folks, and I just can't actually navigate all those discussions from people. So the best way that I can organize all this is I have a wait list. Let me find my magic button. There we go. So I have a big brain wait list. This has a 10-minute video that goes through a bit of my story, a bit of my capabilities. And even if you aren't necessarily a perfect fit for these capabilities, you knowing them is a huge help to me because I'm probably 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from a lead that's transformative for my business. you can take the time to pause this, keep opening the tab on your phone, and go to this waitlist and watch this video. That would be massive for me. And then next step is you can click on any of these big red waitlist buttons, and they will take you to a series of 6 questions that helps me understand you better. This will also kick off an email sequence where I'll bring you through the last year of my entrepreneurial journey with 10 posts that help you take greater risks in your own journey to build the life you desire, living where you want, loving what you do, and being paid well for it. So I'd love if you can navigate this waitlist. And the second thing, which is kind of pressing or new, is I have the keynote in Basel, Switzerland in March. And if you'd like to connect in person, this is the best way to connect with me right now. There's going to be incredible conversations around health tech, which is a combination of both pharma and medtech innovation. I love surgical robotics. I love the ideas of positioning localized pharmaceuticals via robotics into different spaces. So there's going to be some fun dialogue here. And if you go down to the speakers, there's an astronaut, there's Fauci. And if you click across a couple more, here comes my happy face right there. So I'll be there. You can navigate this whole website just to learn more about the event and logistics if this is a good fit for you and members of your team. I do get affiliate commission if you decide to go, which is also helpful for my business. So please don't go to this ticket shop. There'll be a link in the bottom of this video. That's my affiliate link. It should say personal ticket shop from Joey Sasaki. And if you purchase your tickets there, I also get a commission, which is super cool. So anyway, that's all I have from me. And let's see what else we have from my main sponsors of today's episode.
Hey, Pretentious Engineer here. I know you didn't ask, but this episode of Sunday Sips is caffeinated by Kinetic Vision. Throughout my decade-long career in surgical robotics, I've worked with many medtech consultants, and without question, Kinetic Vision stands in a league of their own. They masterfully curate the art of science, accelerating innovation through advanced technology. Their capabilities, creativity, and candor have consistently made them my most trusted digital external innovation partner. We've collaborated across continents and time zones, tackling challenges and unconventional ideas, and taking them from white paper to fully functional MVPs. Their contributions from early concept generation to usability studies, test automations, digital twin creation, VR simulations, and beyond have been pivotal in moving breakthrough ideas towards real-world clinical use. My partnership with Kinetic Vision has been a decade in the making, and it's an honor to introduce you to their world-class capabilities. If you're facing technical challenges beyond what you can do in-house, I trust Kinetic Vision to help you find the path forward and empower you to innovate on behalf of the patients you serve. Finding the right partner to drive digital transformation within your organization and product pipeline is critical to the long-term success of the medtech business. So check out the link in the description below to take the Digital External Innovation Readiness Assessment, which includes a waitlist for experience and discovery session with Kinetic Vision. It'll take you less time than it takes to finish your coffee or tea, and it'll provide you with greater clarity on if Kinetic Vision is right for you. Anyways, sip on that. Let's get back to Sunday Sips.
All right, beautiful. It's pretty good. Okay, so what do we need to do from there? So now we have to pull the main episode back in, but I got to figure out where to cut back in. And we had this issue with the color. Needs to drift over here. There we go. Okay, so now we got to go back and grab all of this. And we're going to start grinding, y'all. I think I want to skip this beginning part. So I guess where would you like to start? Because we've already had 20 minutes before the recording, which is fun to chat. What, I guess, insights or ideas are you most interested in exploring? We could go through your backstory and how you got into medtech. We could talk through what you're working on right now with Zimmer Biomed, and loosely, because Stryker is listening and other folks. We could go through entrepreneurship. So how would you like to progress the discussion?
I think logically maybe start with background a little bit.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's a little unconventional and maybe explains why I'm here, where I am, and then...
shoot. We forgot to add subtitles. We don't want subtitles here. Do we want subtitles here? No, it won't look as clean. Just want subtitles here. So we want to make this our outro. We're going to do timeline, AI, tools, create subtitles. This will be our trailer. And 24. Let's see. 30.
And because we didn't delete our subtitle track entirely, all the formatting should still be there. Goofer. It's like, make sure you close the door tight, girl. She's like, she pops open the door. She's like, "Can I kiss you?" It's like, yeah. All right, let's see how this looks. And we're going to have to adjust some of these subtitles. So we'll zoom in. Santosh, it is such a joy to connect with you today. And there are 3 reasons why I'm excited to curate this episode. All right. Curate. So, first thing, they're too big. So, go to captions, track, size. All right, so let's go back. Santosh, it is such a joy to connect with you today, and there are 3 reasons why I'm excited to curate this episode of Sunday Sips. The first of which, you are an absolute legend in medtech, spanning multiple technologies, startups, strategics, and you are clearly an SME in the AI spaces and how we can progress new solutions there. Second, you are an entrepreneur, which I identify with in your journey. And it's been amazing seeing the different risks you've progressed in order to build up new talent in our medtech industry through robotics and AI and through these intensive workshops. And the third, which I have on my phone, which is exciting, you are the first person ever who gave me feedback on Sunday Sips. So I'm just going to read your initial text, which was so encouraging to me as I've been stepping out and trying to curate these dialogues of big brain ideas in our industry. It's a great talk with Jessica on Sunday. Just Jessica. Jessica on Sunday Sips. With Jessica on Sunday Sips, extremely invaluable advice. You're doing a great service to the medtech ecosystem. Keep up the good work. And so many episodes later, and by so many I mean like 5, 4 that I've done, it is such an encouragement to curate your big brain ideas and to give you the stage to share all of the depth of wisdom you have across engineering, across business, across entrepreneurship. We'll touch on family. So I'm really excited to connect with you today and bring our digital context together so that we could just glean and kind of sit under your wisdom. So Santosh Iyer, you have... Oh, Santosh Iyer. His last name's Iyer. Yeah. Santosh Iyer, you have a remarkable big brain, and it is a privilege to welcome you officially to the Sunday Sips podcast, where we curate these big brain ideas worth sipping on. So that's all I have. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, hey, it's the pretentious engineer from the future, and I know you didn't ask, but I have listened to this conversation with Santosh far more times than I can count. See, it's really smooth. That's like the big thing I'm trying to see is just flow from when I cut out, when I go into context, when we do add inserts, when we jump back in, getting the pieces right. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually export this and do a LinkedIn post right now, just to show progress. And then, because it's approved episode, so I can do that. So we're going to save this into a new folder. I could finally start getting his content out. This is so exciting. Perfect. All right, so we're going to call this Sunday Sips Trailer Shorto. And then we want to burn in those subtitles. We want to export them, but not as a separate file. We got to burn them. All right, so our Southern accent for the day. Then we're going to render that, make the computer work really hard. It's a lot of teeth. Oh, I hate that. It should never be that zoomed in on me. All right, so then let's go and open up our content creation. Grab it here. So while that's doing some magic, there's a couple things I do. So we want to open up Sunday Sips. I can't paint every episode, so I keep track of all the analytics of different images, videos, shorts, and how well they are. Since campaign did around 28,000 views or impressions, which is awesome. 300 engagements and then 76 comments. So if I go over to Santosh, he's already tracking well. He's had some good performing posts. But then what we want to do is, wait a second. Oh, that's right, because this crosses over. Okay, so the next one we're going to have, this is going to be a wide trailer. I'm going to do this trailer short. Yeah. And this Sips trailer. And then we'll have to come up with a description to add to it. I think this one's going to be super simple, actually. Get it linked in. This is there. We're at 50%. Gotta make sure my DMs are closed. Can't let y'all see the secrets. Oh man, we're almost at 1,600. This is getting crazy. 18,000 post impressions. Let's go. Oh, cool. You can actually see that this is live. Awesome. All right, so this video should be good now. So when you're doing video content, you want to upload it native as much as possible, as opposed to plunking it into like a YouTube link. So we're going to do video. We're going to drag this in. I always confirm that it's good. So we're going to go to videos, family frenzy, shorts to upload. Santosh Iyer. Make sure all the subtitles and everything are good.
Santosh, it is such a joy to connect with all of
Good.
the depth of wisdom you have. Santosh Iyer, you have a rev. Let's get to work.
All right, so now this is opening this video. Videos. All right, let's see. Give it a thumbnail. We have one. Thought I had one with Santosh. Oh, I didn't drop it. No, I had to have done it. Let's go to Canva. There we go. That's one heck of a thumbnail. All right, page 18. It's good. My body's getting tired because I have third shift soon, so it's good that the wind down is happening. Page 18. This is such a good thumbnail. Like, it has really awesome depth to it. It's got the right names and logos. Like, he's just a killer, man. It's awesome.
Santosh. Let's never. Oh shoot! I don't think I finished exporting it. Let's try that again. Gonna go cook burgers soon. All right. Back over here. It's a nice wrapper. Beautiful. Oh, geez. Thumb. I want it to fit on a line. Boo. These first 3 lines are so important. Okay. Sunday. Sunday Simpson. The legendary Santosh Iyer. Where you guys gotta tell me when you see these typos. Where I explore the future of physical AI and medtech. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to. Let me send it to you when it drops. Get it out there. Bam. Progress has been made. So while that's working, we will jump back into the editing process and make some progress. So we want to go back to edit. First thing is I just got to add an outro so it looks nice. All right. So now we want to cut into here, and we're gonna. So this is a big problem. At least these are loose. I want to be able to have them all connected, but I don't want to keep fighting with it. Oh, I got it.
me see if that includes the artifact. Yes. Yeah, we're good. Oh, that's the blink blink. We have a new connection request. Hello, Elliot. This is so meta. I'm on LinkedIn. Scrolling LinkedIn. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so let's try to chop into this a little bit. So basically, as we work through this, we're cutting it into clips, little sound bites. So I guess where would you like to start? Because we've already had 20 minutes before the recording, which is fun to chat. What, I guess, insights or ideas are you most interested in exploring? We could go through your backstory and how you got into medtech. We could talk through what you're working on right now as a biomed, and loosely, because Striker's listening to other folks. We could go through entrepreneurship. So how would you like to progress the discussion?
I think logically, maybe start with background a little bit, because maybe it's a little unconventional, and maybe explains why I'm here, where I am, and then that allows us to kind of break into entrepreneurship and CV and other pieces. So yeah, so the background was, I'm Canadian. I was actually lived in the Middle East, but grew up in
Zoom in a little easier so I can use the audio.
Yeah, so the background was I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian.
It's fine. So this should crop it everywhere.
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Beautiful. And then for me, this is part of my workflow. I write my timestamp in because I have to make sure all these clips are less than 3 minutes. So I have a little magic tablet over here. So this is going to be 9:36.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. I was actually lived in the Middle East, but grew up in Canada. Went to school there, did biomedical engineering, and I always say this in my kind of intro is in grade 10, there was a Johns Hopkins neurosurgeon that was doing a robotic brain surgery at the time, and that was super fascinating because I always thought that engineering was like the first robotic style where you build like robots to, like, I don't know, navigate mazes or control drive cars and things like that. But I didn't realize you could actually help people, and that was pretty transformational because it opened my world to now what is called medtech. At the time, I didn't know what that was, and so I went into biomedical engineering with a passion to actually do surgical robotics, which at the time,
Really?
Circa 2003 was extremely nascent, and so Intuitive just kind of started. And I knew I wanted to do it. Intuitive was a great organization, and so I was already committed and locked in, but no one else kind of knew what surgical robotics meant. But I stuck to it. So pretty much my whole career has been a lot of surgical robotics focus, but has now evolved to kind of incorporate AI and digital, because I think the backbone of something like that is natively digitally enabled, which was convenient. And I realized that a lot of the learnings from there could be theoretically ported over to non-surgical robotics context as well. And then technically, my interest is a lot in computer vision and physical AI. So a lot of my engineering work and a lot of my recent kind of marketing and commercial work has really focused on those two domains. And it's a big part of what I focus now on at Zimmer. So that's a little bit more about me.
Yeah, I found it like biomed completely by accident. So I was Chicago,
What I'm focused now on at Zimmer.
Yeah, cut into there. Clip number 1. And then we're going to change colors so that I can find it later for the edit.
So that's a little bit more about me.
Yeah, I found it like biomed completely by found it like yellow then like biomed yellow then I found it like yellow then I'm just gonna keep it. Sloppy Joe, use your words. 11:43. I found it like biomed completely by accident. So I'm from Chicago originally, and I went to the University of Illinois, and a lot of the recruiters were Caterpillar as well as automotive. So as a mechanical engineer, I went to career first thinking I'm going to end up doing cars because that's all I can do. And I found Johnson completely serendipitously. I knew about J&J, I didn't know anything about the car, and that like unfolded an entire journey. So it's always interesting how these little moments can just completely redirect the entire pathway of our life, because I ended up spending a decade there. So out of biomedical and this vision for surgical robotics, where did you start? What was the first company? Yeah, it's not very interesting.
So I
As an engineer.
So, Yeah, so I actually started at Imris, which was in cold Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada, and then they moved down to Minneapolis. And actually, a lot of the Oris engineers, which was in cold. Yeah, so I actually started.
I'm trying to cut in front of Yaz.
So I actually started at Imris, which was in cold Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada, and then they moved down to Minneapolis. And actually, a lot of the Oris engineers now came from there. And the goal was to basically make an MR-compatible microsurgical robot to do brain surgery. So it'd be live imaging with MRI, providing global 3D live reconstruction, and essentially update kind of a 3D atlas of where you are. So it would essentially allow you to do navigated microsurgery in bore in the MRI. And so I was one of the lead systems engineers there, thinking through, workflow, requirements, risk analysis, work very closely with one of the product managers there, Eric Hines, who I now work with as well. And it was fantastic. So really got kind of my career started there. And then, from there, moved over to Vitronis in the Bay Area, which was doing autonomous ultrasound guided cardiac ablation for arrhythmias. And so they were, I think, later acquired by Oris, and some of their technology was absorbed in there. And then from there, I went to Intuitive, working on Ion.
I had no idea you were at Intuitive. I was going to ask about
that.
Oh
yeah. So I was
done more research. Okay.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I was on the Ion team. And at that time, it was kind of my third stint in kind of a technical role. And, I really wanted to, I think what I was missing was there was a lot of interesting development, but I'm really an extroverted kind of guy, and I like to talk to users and understand how my work actually impacts the end patient. So someone told me about product management and marketing, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is something I can do, but transitioning from like an engineering role to marketing is very hard, especially if you've been in it.
That's a really good line.
I was missing was there was a lot of interesting development, but I'm really an extroverted kind of guy, and I like to talk to users and understand how my work actually impacts the end patient. So someone told me about product management and marketing, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is something I can do, but transitioning.
Oh, where do I want to cut this? The reason
I guess this
dilemma,
something I can do.
This is a great hook.
But transitioning from like an engineering role to marketing is very hard.
That's an awesome hook. So I have to resolve this before that hook. This is kind of longer narrative.
Yeah. So I was
done more research. Okay.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I was on the Ion team, and at that time,
done more research. Okay.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I was on the Ion team.
There we go. And not every clip has to be perfect. Like, it's just about getting the right clips at the right time. See if we can grab that hook.
At that time, it was kind of my third stint in kind of a technical role, and I really wanted to. I think what I was missing was there was a lot of interesting development, but I'm really an extroverted kind of guy, and I like to talk to users and understand how my work actually impacts the end patient. So someone told me about product management and marketing, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is something I can do, but transitioning.
That body movement is awesome. You guys want to have a visual hook with an auditory hook with a narrative hook.
Transitioning from like an engineering role to marketing is very hard, especially.
I gotta write down the timestamp.
But
it's like 14:23. So we can go up to 17:23.
Transitioning from like an engineering role to marketing is very hard, especially if you've been in. It's very, and there's no like official track to do it.
Nope.
So I literally went to this thing called product school on nights and weekends. where I basically used I actually used Verb Surgical as my product to basically create kind of like a new feature set. Like what would digital surgery look like, and essentially what is now, I guess, a version of the My Intuitive app is what I had proposed. And that allowed me to kind of enter this kind of marketing realm, and I was very convinced that, okay, this is where I want to go. And then I had some friends and family that said, hey, if you want to really go this way, it's going to be very hard to transition on your own. You can do it, and there's a lot of people that have done it, but they're like, I think you should apply for business school. And if you're in the Bay Area and if you say you're applying to business school, it's like heresy, because no one believes and a marketing realm, and I was very convinced that, okay, this is where I want to go. And then where I want to go.
So leaving them in the middle. Oh, and the whole goal of any short form piece of content is to create intrigue to drive towards a long form piece of content.
And then
actually, there's a clip farther back. I also have to add timestamps. Was this the hook? No, the hook was off of here.
Transitioning.
Yep. So we want to unclick here, add a marker. Good.
And then I had some friends and family that said, hey, if you want to really go this way, it's going to be very hard to transition on your own. You can do it, and there's a lot of people that have done it, but they're like, I think you should apply for business school. And if you're in the Bay Area and if you say you're applying to business school, apply for business school. And if you're in the
So I'm always getting right before movement.
And if you're in the Bay Area and if you say you're applying to business school, it's like heresy, because no one believes in an MBA there. But I kind of still did it because I felt like some of the foundational skills in finance and strategy would be good. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing. Is I was lucky enough to get in, and that was the kind of 2 transformative years of my life. Was then while I was doing the MBA, I actually consulted with Active, did a brief stint with J&J Innovation down in Texas. So I was doing a lot of these kind of consulting or student project gigs, and that's what I made my pivot into digital and AI. So prior to that, I was in surgical robotics. AI was just kind of coming up in the 2017, 2018, like post Jeff Hinton era, when deep learning 2012. That's when you saw autonomous vehicles and physical AI really start to take shape. It wasn't called that back then, but It was starting to take shape. And so I truly believe that that was the future. And so everything I did pretty much post 2017 was very AI and digital focused. So while I was at Harvard and I was doing this kind of function pivot, I really believed in digital being the future. That's also, by the way, right before Harvard is when I ran into Joe Urban. One of the best happenstances of my life. At the time, he was running Potrero Medical, which is now Acuren. And he allowed me to be a quasi product manager to think about their AI offering in sepsis monitoring, predictive sepsis monitoring using urine analysis. And that was truly transformative, because it was the first time I had someone who truly took a bet on me. And by the way, he didn't even know at the time that I was going to HBS. He truly gave me a bet because he saw my passion and my hunger to get in front of the customer. So without any formal product management experience, he kind of took a chance on me, and that really paid off, because he won South by Southwest to help him kind of create his pitch deck, and obviously we've been very close since then. And I talk about kind of what it's like kind of working with him at Zimmer. But that was a pivotal point in my life, because it taught me that you need people like this in your career who will take a bet on you. Going through the formal interview process and applying is not the way you get those breakthrough opportunities. So anyway, you get those breakthrough opportunities.
Right. That's a good one. Lovely. Now he said something I want to tag. What was it?
You need people like this in your career who will take a bet on you.
That's a great word. Great word. So these are things I'll revisit on second sips when I break down the podcast.
So anyway, since then, I'm not going to kind of dive too much into after what happened after business school, but did a variety of stints in smaller companies, including Active, and then I'm actually back into the engineering side of things at Zimmer now. But what's interesting is I think with the marketing and kind of commercial background I got over the last 8 years, that's extremely useful as an R&D leader because when you're trying to budget or buy it or align it, to be able to present business cases and strategy from a marketing standpoint is extremely powerful. And so it's been really fun to collaborate cross-functionally with leaders, being able to speak their language, but obviously being able to advocate for R&D, which I would say in general is not something conventionally you would think an R&D leader should have. But I think a lot of the successful ones end up having those skill sets in some capacity, especially as they move up. So it's been awesome so far.
Oh my gosh, there's so many threads. There's so many pieces I want to pull, and you've covered too much ground.
Yeah.
Which is fine. This happens with a lot of my guests. So maybe to rewind a little bit back.
Yeah.
Someone who's new into biomedical systems engineering in these spaces, your career has kind of jumped across multiple movements in different disciplines. When I joined Ethicon, the tracks presented to you. But when I joined, there we go. That's a good one. I joined Ethicon, a tracks presented to you, right? You could progress down the technical path and become a better engineer. You can progress down the leadership path. Marketing's over here on the side. I ended up doing a hybrid role between commercial and R&D, which was epic. And just, man, how do you encourage people to follow the track for a season, but then to start to find their own path? You found a way to break out and then build relationships, have people take shots on you. How did you attract that? And you covered at least a decade worth of time in 2 minutes. How do you find kind of the patience in the waiting as you navigate kind of your next development jump and then eventually figure out where you pivot next to try to find those spaces to move into?
It's a good question. So I wish I'd known this, over 10 years ago, but I think you really need to understand the skill sets that make you unique. Dharmesh Shah, who's the CTO at HubSpot, talks about this, the $1 trillion Venn diagram of success. He ended up on HubSpot as he was doing a podcast. And basically the idea is you have a complementary set of skills that when combined together make you one in a billion. So, he has a couple of examples there and I can share the link after, but I wish I'd known that because had I known that, what I would have started with is, okay, what makes me unique? And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. It's just observational, right? Where do you add value where others cannot? And I think if you have that compass and you're true, this is who I am, this is what I want to be, then you're going to find people in roles that celebrate that or that accentuate those skills. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not going to be like a perfect fit, but often you could probably get 2 out of the 3. And what you usually do is round that out with other experiences, right? And some of those may not even be at work. And so for me, I figured I could get 2 out of the 3. And it was tough because especially the traditional engineering pathway, for example, talking to users, but being very user facing is a part of the job, but unlike marketing, it's not the sole focus of the job. You still have to do time development and you have to be very technically savvy and be able to hold your own discussions. So I was kind of caught in this in between in a way where I could not find a role that was perfect for me. And so a lot of it was trial and error, trying to figure out what fit. The one common thread is with biomedical engineering, you are forced to think in systems levels. You're forced to connect horizontally, not vertically, unlike Mackie or software. And one of the first questions I got whether I did DD was, well, what does that mean? What do you do? And
Gotta find a cut somewhere.
I could get 2 out of the 3, and it was tough because, especially in the traditional engineering pathway, for example, talking to users but being very user facing is a part of the job, but unlike marketing, it's not the rest of the job. You still have to do a ton of development, and you have to be very technically savvy and be able to hold your own in discussions. So I was kind of caught in this in between in a way where I could not find the role that was perfect for me.
There we go.
Not find the role that was perfect in between.
It's another good one. All right, friends on TikTok and YouTube, I'm looking at you. I am going to go be a dad and cook burgers for my kids, but we made some progress on Santosh's edit, which is awesome. I'm going to try to live stream work more often, whether I'm doing content creation, writing for my keynote, doing workshops, other ways to just interact with you as the community. So appreciate you. Hope this is valuable and interesting, and keep changing the world. See you on the next one. All right.